Good evening, dear viewers. Welcome to Goosebumps HorrorTown playthrough. This is the review for the 11th event that we have in this game called the Squeezers Revolution. If you've seen my previous reviews before, you know the drill by now. I go ahead and talk a little bit about what the update brought, some of the interesting facts, and then I go with what's made this event good and what made me improved or what was terrible about it, and then an overall review of where I decide to stand with where this video starts. So let's go ahead and go through that, shall we? Dustin gets a weird letter from a woman that claims to be a distant relative, who goes by the name Grandma. At first, everything seems to be going alright. That wasn't until something from the sky came crashing down. A mysterious figure returns again. Grandma also seems to be acting weird. She claims to be a secret agent who was sent here to stop an alien invasion from happening again. Only Dustin doesn't know if there are other motives Grandma has in store. So, this is the second alien event with a more Soviet Revolution theming or the aesthetic of communism. Me saying those words are probably bad for the algorithm, or it's like, oh, demonetized, but it's what it is, man. It's the aesthetics of it, okay? I don't mind it because of, the Ukrainian grandmother from Eastern Europe, that kind of stereotype, but whatever. Anyways, and there's an implication that there's two stories in one here, which is the Squeezer Revolution and more so, or the Squeezer Revenge, which is kind of there, but I think it's not really, and it's more so Secret Agent Grandma. The main story front for sure, but you could argue it is also Squeezer Revolutions. The Squeezer Revenge. Okay, I'm sorry, but they both start with R's, okay? And I'm so used to saying revolution, it just, don't blame me. This is the first time in a while that the clubhouse was used for crafting. The last time we've ever used it was, I believe, the Halloween update, so it was interesting to have that come back again. I know somebody who watched me before, they were like, oh, finally, I told you, there'll be crafting stuff there. And the last thing is that this event started back November 13th and ended December 10th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, that's roughly it when it comes to what the story is all about and all the other good stuff. But as we expected as previously before, let's find out if this is all good. So, what do we suspect? Do we believe, for me, the alien event to be as perfect and a triumphant return to form where they've redeemed themselves, or they go back or made it worse than the previous one? So let's find out with the goods what it did right. Gaining an older event spawn for event currency is a plus. The fact of the matter is, this was one of those features I loved seeing back in the Valentine's Day update, and to have this come back is a real fun feature. It's a way to be able to kind of get something from the past, but also kind of keep it at the same time. And yeah, it was a fun experience to see that they decided to bring this, and then they decided to implement with it and kind of use it for something else. This event had lots of time to get everything, so it was more of a relaxing, not really rushed. The way the items were needing and all that type of stuff, there was no like, oh, I need to get this stuff done, because there was like about 4 weeks to do it. You're like, yeah, I might take my time, maybe I won't log in today, maybe I'll log in every so often, but I ended up not being able to do so much, and I seem to be fine with it for the most part. The grand prize was nicely themed with the event's two stories. In a way it is. I did enjoy the idea of having the iconic Russian palace being overtaken by a purple gunk, I guess. I mean, it's not tentacles, mind you, but maybe they are. Maybe they're like sentient beings, but it kind of makes it seem like a purple peanut butter type of deal. That story will be interesting if they ever do that or integrate that into the game in some form. finally they did this. Both spawns, now with premium characters, be able to drop 100% guarantee of the items. Meaning that if you have both of these two characters and spawn all the items, you are guaranteed to get those eggs and the secret recipe just fine. This is a feature I really do enjoy. I like the idea that if you do this and you invest, you'll be able to get the items no problem, so you have less of a stress. It does unfortunately encourage people to kind of invest into the game, but that's kind of the advice when it comes to these free-to-play games, which usually they have to find a way to kind of entice you to kind of invest in the game's time and management. But a lot of people didn't have much complaints when it comes to this feature, so yeah. The items that are new this time around are very creative to be able to use in town. Unlike other events like Welcome to Dead House, where the event items were a little bit all over the place and kind of hard to make something with it, this time they've actually added some events, like alien event stuff, but they also brought stuff back to kind of make you be able to add to the town and make it a little bit more interesting. I was able to use most of these items to their advantage, like the bus stops, all that type of stuff. I think they handled that pretty well when it comes to what they offered here. So, they certainly did some good stuff with this event for the most part, but unfortunately, like everything in life, there's always a yin to a yang, so let's find out what made this event not that great. One of the new things they did here was introduce buildings that dropped random items. Usually this consists of having one item do this, one item, like one building produces these kind of items. Because of this, some items only are available from one specific character, and the rest is RNG luck based. And most of these characters were premium based, so for some people, like say if they want butter, the only way they're going to get it is through a building, and that's like a luck in a draw. You might get it, you might not. Sometimes it's 50%, sometimes it's 3.3% of a chance to be able to get the thing. So I can see people's frustrations when it comes to certain items to craft. Although the price was justified this time around, the premium characters are a little bit too high. I do agree with this. The fact of the matter is, both of them are 500, which means that in this event alone, that's 1,000 Goosebucks just to get these characters. Now, yes, they have tried to not really imply, but they tried to improve on the characters of how much is worth and what they drop and all that type of stuff. But at the end of the day, it's still a lot for some people to be able to invest in. They might not be able to just do the one character. So, again, this is just something, a negative that I have to bring up, because I know people, especially they want something, at least something freemium in the sense of a character walk around that can assist with the event storyline. Perhaps what they can probably do, and this is an event, this is something I might bring up in later videos, but it'll be interesting if they bring more hero characters to these stories and their freemium buys. They'll be able to assist you during the events, and sure, they might be nothing after that, but it's something for people to be able to get a fighting chance to get stuff. I will say the new baby squeezers are very adorable and cute. The downside to these is that they seem a bit absent from the story. They, besides this little thing of, oh, I'm building an army, they hardly are even bothered there. They're just like, oh, there's aesthetics. Oh, look, baby squeezers. Yay, isn't that cute and adorable? You don't use them in the story at all, and they're not even in the art, or, you know, the title screen or anything like that. So it's like, why are they there? They're just, oh, there's something new there. It's like, okay. Like, you could have used the spawn, the prawns from last year, but okay. Well, I mean, that's my only complaint, is that it's not justified to have the babies. It's, if you're gonna do something with the babies, at least kind of show them off a bit. And just, you know. I think you know what I mean, right? A lot of these items that I've mentioned before that you need the characters that drop them are premium based, but the worst part about them is that they're also characters that are event characters, premium characters. So not only do we not have characters that are premium, but then you have event specific characters. So for example, Claus, I believe, was able to drop the butter, and I think it was the only one who actually been able to do that if it wasn't the other two characters. So that means that unless you played the Christmas update last year, or in this case it would be 2018, then you're out of luck for that one. So perhaps the next time they can have a character, some way to balance stuff like that out. I understand the whole random thing, and yeah, it can be fun in some cases, but for some other people they're frustrating, and there are chances that you can get really bad luck that you will never be able to get what you want. Look at me, for example, with the 1 in 3 chance to get one of the items I need, and yet I never get the one item I needed, which is the compasses. So whenever you introduce the RNG like system for buildings to get your supplies, have other alternatives to freemium players to be able to get those items. Even if it means that they're a little bit longer, have an option there. Or at least have it so that it's not really that much required. So yeah, that was the review. And as you can see, the bad wasn't too bad. You know, good was alright, all that type of stuff. But at the end of the day, where exactly do I put this compared to the other 11, 10 events that we've had before? Well, last time the other one that was the HorrorLand one ended up coming into 3rd place. And well, after looking at it, reviewing things, and looking at the community, I ended up kind of putting this in this place right here. Oh, yeah. No, you're not seeing that right. You are seeing this correctly. It has overtaken HorrorLand Carnival and is kind of coming close to the Valentine's Day update, but hasn't passed it yet. In fact, if anything, it's now taken over the 3rd place spot. The reason why I did this was because of the fact that a lot of the stuff that they brought into this was really good. The way they had everything crafted, the items, everything like that, all the stuff kind of accumulated to the point where it was actually very useful for all this stuff, and it just made everything work. All the elements, all the stuff there, it worked fine. I think the reason why this might have been the case too is because of the length this update was in. They might have improved it over the few months that they got extra of, so that's also a possibility. But if that's the case, then maybe they can look into this to make it a little bit better for future content when it comes to limited time stuff. But yeah, that will be something interesting here too. So yeah, that is it. So that's it. That's my review of this whole thing, and I hope you enjoyed something out of this event. But yeah, normally by this time I'll be like, oh guys, let's find out what come up next time, see me next, blah 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 blah. But you know, I already kind of cut in and basically spoiled what is coming up. It's the shop till you drop dead. So this is gonna end very weird compared to the other events. This one's going to go from the end of this to part 2 of another thing. So yeah, if you haven't seen the other parts, I would advise you to go do that. Or if you're seeing this through a playlist, then don't worry, it's going to come next, so just ignore this message here. But yeah, I'm very happy that the aliens came back with a vengeance and actually brought back an actual decent update. So I'm very happy with that. They redeemed themselves, so they are no longer the worst as of now. So congratulations, Mr.Fleshman and the Squeezers. You are now actually good. So, yeah, you should feel very proud of yourselves. So, yeah, that's it at the end of the day. And I will see you guys next time. Do all the stuff before. I'm kind of getting tired, so I'm going to get a good night rest. And then the next time you see me will be part 2 to the Shop Till You Drop Dead. And oh man, do I have a lot to talk about that one, because I had involvement with it. It just recently finished, and there were some interesting choices they ended up making, and yeah, it will be very intrigued to see how we that whole thing ends up. But until then, folks, I've been Grim. I'll be seeing you next time. Until then, watch out for the stars. They might be coming down to beam you up. Good night.